like my Uncle Bill. Chalk the bull like my Uncle Charlie. No stress, you know. Take it slow like my Uncle Robert. So you better have a good heart around these folks. Still a player like my Uncle Butch. Take your girl if I want so. That's just how I roll. On my father, so it's understood. Richard back like he never left. Man, this how we go. Good times never die, cause they in our soul. Smile more, cry less. This how we go. Smell of the smoke when it's parked and it blows. In the wind, kinda.
I think Richard was a wonderful guy. I mean, because he was outgoing, you know, that type of person. But then when I look on the other side, it was some shit going on. Some serious stuff going on with relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And it did. That's exactly where it stemming from. And a lot of jealousy, you know what I'm saying?
And that's where he was showing me from when he first started dealing with women. His mama was not first, second, third, or fourth. She was more like the sixth, seventh, eighth. I don't know, whatever. But she inserted herself into his life. It wasn't a...
Cause he was everything.
I know.
Exactly.
He was the sun, the shine.
You know how some people would do certain things
to make
sure they get in that spot?
Mm-hmm.
She did certain things to make sure she got in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And did nothing else after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he like there was one time where they was at the house over there at Sledge Road, I believe. And he said he, you know, because dad'll get off work and then, you know, his mama, mind you, mama's giving him all the credit for doing the good things.
Yeah.
And she was like, he'll get out work and he'll clean here, you know, this, that, and other. And he'll cook dinner and stuff. And then his homies was doing over there, and they was like, dang, Tricky, she got you working, down there. They were joning them, right?
Right.
And what happened is, well, mama kind of took offense to it. So when the guys left, she said, Richard, you make me look bad. He said, nah, Quitty, you make yourself look bad.
Now,
guess what?
Said. He always
Guess what? That's the same thing we went through.
She saw Richard.
Right.
And he was sitting down.
Mm.
She, you know, just like calm, just watching me. My best friend's husband is in here.
Oh.
And he's known to carry a gun. So I gotta go. She said, you don't need to go anywhere. You don't know if he's gonna do something to you. Quita, that's what he does. That's where I'm supposed to go. He said, well, that guy that was you were dancing with, you seemed like he liked you or you liked him or something. So I said, oh God, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen. That's my mind, they'll kill me and then kill himself. I don't know. So we're going. I said, it wasn't long and he had that gun. Not that I seen it, but...
So wait. So the whole time that he was in the club and y'all drove and then got to the house and had the brief talk or whatnot. You never seen his gun?
No, because he's not gonna show it on me.
I ain't saying he was gonna show it. I'm just saying you never seen it.
I've seen it before in the past.
Or not, but what I'm saying is,
no, he don't have it where you stick it.
Because usually guys are heavy here or
I don't know. I didn't look at him like that. I didn't try to check.
What was he wearing?
I don't know. It's a little plaid doggone shirts. The white boy. Not the thick one, but I don't know. I don't know if he had jeans. I don't know. I don't remember. You know, yes I do, when you said, because the people called me and said, where is his shirt? I said, they cut it off of him in the helicopter. So when they called me back, yeah, we found it in the powder on his hand. And you think? I went back in the back. I changed.
Right.
Because I told him, just lay down. Just lay. I didn't tell him get out of my house.
But he called me about wee hours of the morning, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. He was with this woman I thought on Sledge Road. I was like, hey, how you doing? Blah, you know. And
Same night.
And then I get a call. I'm in there by myself. I get a call later that he's been shot. That he done shot himself. And we get over there. They already got him at the bed.
Uh-huh.
And we go in there and they take us to the mortuary because he already dead. And they done prepped him.
You're saying Yvette said she was talking to him. He was at that house. No. She needs to know that he was at the club. He usually watched the kids on site. You know, we were together, but that he didn't.
So you
that
think
night.
she got the time wrong?
She got the time wrong, and she got the day wrong.
You think she misremembering not only the time,
when did he
but the
talk
whole
to her
day?
at 3? Because it wasn't no 3 o'clock.
It was almost 3 o'clock. It was like close to.
No,
she
baby,
said
no.
It was 3 o'clock.
I wasn't sure not sitting in no club at no 3 o'clock.
Did you hear any noise in there? Like somebody might have.
Why? It was his gun.
No. I said like somebody else might have been there.
With with y'all?
Yeah, like while you were in there, somebody else was in there.
At the door?
No, but no.
That doesn't make sense.
I know none of it does. Though. That's what I'm saying.
I don't see. It come to me for the facts. I have no reason to lie because I didn't do it. Powder burns was on his hand.
Right.
Right? Yeah, because when did he have time to talk? He had no cell phone.
I know. That's why she said he called her from his house.
He wasn't there. He was at my house.
We didn't have no phone, did you? At that time.
No, yes, we did.
No, you didn't. You said
no. I said she had cut off after he died. She got us a phone. She got us. I'm trying to think if I had to go to Lori's.
Mama, that's what I'm saying. If we had a phone in that house, Tanya wouldn't have been sent out to go call her at Daryl Reddy's or at Aunt Lori because Aunt Lori was out of town.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, Grant, you saying that's what you said.
Lori was out of town.
That's what you said.
Why would she be out of town?
I don't know. I was 5. I don't know.
No.
What it said about the first time about the sympathy shot, that's what they call it. Wouldn't, from a logical standpoint of pattern, wouldn't he have done that in front of you?
I never sat down. I told him, just lay down. Right. So we sat up and we talked. And he kept asking me.
You hear something? Hold on, Mama. Hold on. Do you hear something over there?
I never sat down. I told him, just lay down. Right. 2 weeks prior, I saw death. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't have said, I told you, I never told you I wasn't coming back home. You just have to deal with some things.
A rumor that a dude did it. Another dude. A dude named Snowman.
Who the hell is a snowman?
You don't know anybody named Snowman?
I don't know. Richard, I am 66 years old. I don't have to lie.
But y'all generation is the one that don't want to talk. Do you recall the last time you was around them or talked to him?
I think me and him was out that night. And he left me and went home.
You just told us that y'all didn't have y'all guns like that. So you just said the same thing Uncle Chuck said. We didn't carry them guns around like that. No. We ain't even country boys.
What kind of club had a bouncer back then?
Mama drove her car to Sheila's house so Daddy wouldn't know where she lived.
And then I'm trying to figure out how he know where they were.
She drove
to the other girl's house.
Right, and then rode with her to the club.
So he ain't riding by to see her car.
Right.
She was like, go next door, and I remember looking at him as he was laying there, but I kind of remember his shirt already being up a little bit. Or it might have been when I came back, because I remember going to unlock the door and going next door to Laura in the house, but they weren't there. She was going to the church. So I came back to Mama, and she was there, but I don't know what she was doing. I don't remember. And then I was like, then I'm home. And she was like, okay. And then she ran across the street. And I sat there watching. And I don't remember where Tasha was at that time.
Right.
But by the time the ambulance and the sheriff came, she was right there beside me.
Right.
I don't remember no phone. I don't remember having no phone at that house because I was in the 5th grade. I was in Middleton South. Yes, she was getting calls and stuff. I remember hearing about calls. I don't know to where, but there were calls.
I've heard Granny, and she's heard Granny say this out her mouth. We've heard Granny say this. This ain't a hearsay.
Right.
Granny said 2 weeks before Daddy died, he said he seen death on the way home, and he was shook up about it. And Granny said she held him and, embraced him. And
that's what Granny said.
That's what we heard Granny say this. Everybody who knew him said he was full of life.
Right.
But at the same time, the way Mama said is,
after they had him, he said that, I'm done. I guess I came to do what I came to do, and I'm done now.
So if he shot himself and he drove himself to the hospital the first time, according to her, why, if y'all went to the club, y'all got 2 vehicles outside, why didn't you jump in the damn vehicle when he was shot the second time and drive him up there to the Millington, the hospital?
Because she said it was a hospital at that time.
Now, they may not have did trauma, but they could have done something.
But you talking about over there on the base?
Over there by Granny House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I live that sometimes to hear the man that I loved more than God. God forgive me, because that's how I treated him, I guess. And you're not supposed to love nobody more than God. He's a jealous God. There was a tear. He was blue. His lips were blue.
If you realize he was shot, I know it was a panicky time. You never thought to yourself to because if he drove himself to the hospital the first time, you never thought to put him in the van and try to take him to the hospital at that time?
All the way to where?
This was a hospital.
How was I going to pick him up? No, baby, that's a Navy hospital. You couldn't go there. You were in the Navy then.
Your daddy was a strong brother. Now, he didn't get no shit. He would fight. You know, we didn't get into no fights. But it wasn't like he would let nobody pump. Yeah. That ain't happened. Even if he had a gun, ain't no nigga gonna take it from him. Other nigga might have been shot. Right. But your dad was strong.
So when you say over the years, as you said, that you hate they put suicide on there, well, what else could they technically put? There's no such thing as an accidental shot?
Yeah, but that's what they did, and because it was there. People trying to kill themselves, baby. Do not. I'm gonna shoot.
I know that's what
they're gonna shoot. Now through here, or here. They're not going for the stomach, corner, hair, dead.
Oh.
Yeah, dead, sucker.
What happened with the coroner?
Coroner told me, I called him, because everything he said to me, the investigator said to me. I said, what are you, I said, you're the coroner, you're doing the autopsy, so what are you doing, the police telling you, you know, you telling me everything he already told me. He told me if I didn't leave it alone, he was going to put down homicide. I don't tell everybody that.
I know that.
Did you? And I told my dad said, leave it alone, skinny. Leave it alone quick. I said, it's not, I don't want that on his death certificate. And I don't want my children to think that their father would just take his life. And I said, furthermore, he sure wouldn't leave me behind. And I'm not bragging, I'm just telling you the truth. I was so mad at that, man, I was going to take it to court. My dad said, skinny, leave it alone. We had a phone, gift phones that they had in Millington. That means you had a place, you lived in Millington. I have a phone already, I can call and get you a gift phone. She had it cut off. She probably figured I did it because she knew that her son was a womanizer, so maybe I got angry and
that's what the people who personally knew y'all could have thought.
To deal with it my own way.
That's insane.
Just holding it in, and you know, I said up until recently, you guys on the one I never really told anyone else.
Right.
I told Keisha because we know we was kind of in the same situation. She was my best friend.
They should have gave some therapy for seeing that.
What you saw?
Yeah, with Daddy at the end, like.
Oh no. Like I said, up until I told Uncle Chuck a few years ago, no one knew that I was in there and saw what happened. After it happened, we never talked about it. It was other issues that were going on that was just as big as that, but they swept it under the rug. Oh my gosh, there's so much shit. Damn. I wish I wasn't cooking right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to open Pandora's box, but see, somebody else opened it for us.
She just said that. What did I tell you?
You said that. Nene said this weeks ago. She said that's what She said that's what it was. I'm telling you, Nene don't miss, man.
Oh my
if
God.
only she knew them damn lottery numbers.
That's what I just say. Terry had bought Richard them boots we've been talking about.
The boots, the cowboy looking boots.
Do you know she buried them boots with him?
No. You for real?
She buried them boots with him.
Wow.
Cause I asked her, cause me and Richard wore the same size shoes. And I asked her, I said, Quita, can I have them boots Richard had? She said, they're in this casket with him. I left that alone right there.
So them boots, they left when he left.
They left
boots, and there was something else that Terry had gave him. She buried that with him.
Wow.
I just felt it. So when he pulled off, I got in my car and I kind of stayed back. And probably he didn't know I was even behind him. I was back there.
Right.
It was one morning. I was already on my way home, but already home when he go get, go to B's house. Did he kick her door in? Where's my wife? But I called him. So I went across the Pleasant Ridge and I saw her car that she had and him. He was going to pick her up.
Right.
And I just looked. I said, really? I said, okay. I came home. I said, go. I said, leave me and these kids alone. We can make it without you. You go because I'm not, There's 3 people in this relationship's not going to work. And you don't call me out of my name. You don't do that. I said, you don't want people, especially your homies, Quita left Richard. And, because he's scared somebody going to get Quita. Then he tried to throw something about, well, she buys me this, that, and that's why I buried him in them damn boots. And I ugly about it, because guess what I said? There was only one Mrs. Richard Darnell Hardy, and that's me. All you you don't have it. So, I was very proud. For being a widow, his widow. Yes, I do. And I knew my life was going to change because it was going to be...
Definitely changed.
I was going to be accused. I knew it.
You knew
I even said to the police. Because I didn't know what to do. I was nervous, chatting. I was just like, this is not happening. And I'm walking in circles and, come on, Richard, pick up. This is not happening. This is not happening.
There's no way she could know the stuff that she know about Daddy.
I've seen him in 3 different forms. He's like he's a cowboy biker. Like a biker cowboy. Like it's a mix of cowboy clothes and biker clothes. And I kept seeing his vest, like he had this, and then he had this buckle with these pants. Pants were not tight, but they were tight. He always wore these shirts with his shirt tucked in.
He did.
The 3rd form, I had no idea that he came to me many years before my daddy passed. He looked tired, like he was tired. It's just so much was going on at one time. The way he looked, he was looking tired.
If he had this gun this whole time, from the late 70s on to the 80s, and he shot the glass out on you, made it fall on you, he shot himself twice and never shot you once? Who would want to shoot themselves and suffer through a gunshot, right?
Right.
She agreed.
Suicide, they want to know it.
And I just think about it like, my daddy would have made a great grandfather.
Yeah.
And so now, that's why we doing this work, because everything they tell me about it, he had his whole life ahead of him. So why would he had multiple vehicles, which we can't even afford now. And he had a house, he had it just seemed like he had a whole lot going
If he would have had some help, if Quita would have got up and worked and they worked together, they could have moved forward. They probably at some point in time would have left all the other riff-raff alone. But they just, had to fight with each other, and don't no man want to be alone. The same way I feel about some women.
In that suit that he was in, we had took a few years before that, an Easter picture, me, Mom, and Daddy. I think she was probably pregnant with Risha, because it was just me, Mom, and Tasha for Easter, in that same suit he had on. We took that picture in front of Gramps' yard, Easter time. Because Gramps got us new dresses, I remember that. He was buried in that same gray suit. It's like a pale gray suit. And everybody, it was just white. Everybody was white and white.
I look at it, it's not about me because he didn't give me these visions for nothing.
No, he didn't.
He died alone. He died with nobody holding him, nobody there right there with him, all because she did that. He died alone, and she made it seem like she was there for him. That's what hurt him the most. But even more so, the lies created and everything that's happened in his life can't even move forward because even though he's where he is now, his dad's door is still open.
He wants everything to be resolved so he can rest. He wants you all to be able to rest.
From your understanding, your recollection, did any police ever talk to y'all as the Hardys?
Not that I can remember.
And that's exactly what my wife said. She said no Hardys got talked to by the cops. I bet you anything.
Because the police was interested in, they didn't know, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? The police didn't never approach them because they weren't interested. This was, who are you? I'm his wife. This man has been shot. There's the gun. There's the gun. Okay, now who shot him? They're trying to save his life, so to speak. And nothing was ever said about, we believe somebody walked in and no. They went did that test.
In any investigation, they don't necessarily just stop with the spouse. They start with the spouse.
Why didn't they do it? When they discovered the powder burns went on my hands, when they discovered that it was on Richard's hands, and the shirt they cut off of him because, you know, Chuck, baby, I didn't kill Richard. Would have never killed him. They said they did an autopsy. So I did say something. They did an autopsy. The angle of the gun was not somebody standing shooting. They tell you all of that. The powder burns is on his hand, so they know nobody else shot him. That he shot himself. Everybody had accused me.
You act like you were offended that anybody would consider that you would have done it.
I'm not offended.
How can you touch their body?
The area that they were shot in.
The area that they were shot. Touch the gun. And there's no transference of evidence onto your hands.
It doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense at all. Like, that's literally impossible. Physically impossible.
Unless you had gloves on.
Unless you had gloves on. And the cops come in and say, there's a gun, there's a gun. That's two guns.
So I thought it was one gun. So where did two guns come from? There's a gun, there's a gun. Maybe you repeated in your head trying to find another lie or something, but certain things ain't making sense.
No. And that's the reason I ask questions, is to gather an understanding of what happened to my father. Because every child deserves to know their parents, mother and father. When you deny them of the opportunity to know the parent that is no longer there, you have done that child a disservice as they ascend into adulthood, and you risk the opportunity to be honest. And you could lose the relationship with that child when they become an adult. But if you don't care about that type of thing, then it won't even matter now, will it?
Because if you only care about you and only you, you're going to keep that facade up.
You're going to hear me say 1 billion times, it's never about me. It's about everybody. Everybody.
It's always about everybody.
Everybody lost daddy. Everybody.
But
only
when we
one.
hear it from one person, nobody lost him but her.
I didn't have the powder burns.
I know that. I hear you, Mama. I hear you on that. You keep defending the point. I'm not bringing up the actual events. I've heard you on that 3 different times. The information that you had never went to, you saying it went to Uncle Chuck. Okay, cool. Obviously it didn't go past Uncle Chuck.
Correct. Well, it had to, because he had to
Because
I didn't do it.
no, but listen,
I didn't do it.
mama. Of course, people are going to make it seem like gonna assume that you had something to do with it. Because now you don't even want the kids around us. That's how people are going to perceive it.
But it's wrong, and I'm trying to tell you, and I tried to tell you the other day, they thought I did it.
When he shot himself this last time, supposedly, the police say he had residue on his finger, so they didn't fingerprint the gun.
What makes it look like Mama did it, he was at your house.
Yeah.
And you know why it couldn't be at his house? Because there was a woman there.
Started to find out through insurance certain things that you get, certain things you don't as a spouse. Or so with accidental death, you get double.
Double, yeah.
This wasn't recorded, but it was said by my mother's mother, aka Granny, to me and my wife in the 2010s. My father told her he seen death on his way home about 2 weeks or so before he actually died. Sounds like a forewarning or an epiphany, in my opinion, from the spiritual world. Even though his best friend Pat Ray isn't clear if him and Daddy went out earlier that night, Uncle Chuck is very crystal clear. He asked Daddy to go out that night. Daddy kept saying that he was very tired. So since Dad didn't go out, Chuck also stayed in. Janika experienced spiritual visions of Daddy looking tired in the final phase she seen him in. She even had that vision way before we did any research for this documentary or talked to any family members. Uncle Chuck and Mama only confirmed what she presented in the information. Aunt Yvette clearly said that she talked to Daddy around 2 to 3 a.m. When she did, he put a woman on the phone that he was with that night at his house, and he was in good spirits, according to her, not suicidal. Mama even says that she was not at no club at 3 in the morning. The reason that's significant is because the time of the shooting is estimated around 3:30 a.m. and the time of death is around 4:30 a.m. Mama says that she tells Daddy when she's going out for girls' night. But she didn't say that she talked to him that night to tell him specifically. But I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did talk to him that day and told him she was going out that night. According to Mama, Daddy showed up to the club, sat down, and watched her as he had a beer while she was dancing with someone. Sheila then told Mama her husband was there. Dad never asked her to leave, according to Mama. She decided that she was going to leave on her own with him. So he didn't show up at the club and demand she leave like the paper says, by her own admission. They proceeded to go to Sheila's house to pick up Mom's car, which I confirmed with my cousin was still in Fraser, aka the Bay Area. Keep in mind, his sister said she talked to him at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning while he was at home. Let's just say she talked to him briefly after 2 o'clock and he left to go to the club around 2:15-ish, reasonably. It takes at least 28 minutes to get from his house to a Bill Twilight Club. Never mind him sitting down, drinking a beer, and then deciding to leave. It takes at least another 11 minutes to go from the club to Sheila's house to pick up Mama's vehicle. Stay with me. From there, they drive down Highway 51 as he bumps her with his vehicle. That's at least another 18 minutes of driving from Sheila's house to Mama's house. So let's do the math real quick. That's roughly about 57 minutes. So let's just say an hour to round it out. Keep in mind, that's the drive time only from Millington to North Memphis to Fraser back to Millington. That puts the time that they arrive at Mama's house around 3:15 a.m. The article says he went in the room and asked for a yes or no on the relationship. But she told us they never left the living room when she gave him her answer about reconciliation. She proceeded to tell him to lie down on the couch, of course. Then she went to the room and went to sleep. That's when she was woke up by the scream and the shot. But let's not forget, she said she was asleep almost an hour or so before she heard it. putting the shooting closer to about 4:15 or 4:30 a.m. rather than 3:30 a.m. She clearly said that she didn't see his gun on him the whole time she was with him that night. Yet, he had his shirt tucked in the whole time, wearing a blue plaid shirt with jeans. Uncle Chuck and Mama clearly state Daddy owned a .22 caliber pistol, yet the gun found at the scene was a .25 caliber pistol.
If Queen is not telling the truth, she can't live with it. That ain't something you can live with if you're not telling the truth.
Right.
It's gonna haunt you. It's gonna take a toll on you. It's gonna take a toll on you mentally. You'll wind up telling it piece by piece.
I had a feeling, but I didn't know what that feeling was. So I just went on home. I didn't try to go to the club that night either.
Right. You just said, well, forget it, I ain't gonna go either.
Because there was a lot of times, if he wasn't there, I didn't want to be there because I know I couldn't trust none of the other club members to watch my back.
Your back.
Yeah.
At Richard's wake, when Quita walked in, Mother said, Lord, if he didn't kill himself, show me a sign. Man, one of the flowers fell down.
Wow.
It sure did. Wasn't nobody near it, it just fell over. She said, that's my sign.
Wow.
How many times we gonna ask him for a sign and he give us a sign every time? When he first came to me, as far as what happened to him, he said he was set up.
Richard?
Mm-hmm. He said he was set up. It seems as if there was only reason he went to your house or something was for the kids, or something about the kids. He kept saying, I did not kill myself. I didn't kill myself. I didn't shoot myself. As he was going in the house, he was patting stuff down, showing me he had nothing on him but this key ring, these keys, a lot of keys. He had something with a lot of keys on it. When he was shot, it's like he was not sleep, but he was in shock. He didn't have anything in his hand. When we spoke to Miss Betty, the man who killed himself, that made him mad.
Because that's how he's remembered.
Because he's remembered as the man who killed himself.
I don't like it, because I said I didn't want a death certificate. And when that Richard Hare, you're dead and gone. Dead. They had to come out of school early because children said, your daddy killed himself. I said, no, this is not going to be suicide because the Hare, I don't remember his name. I remember when he died. I was like, good for him. I'm sorry, it was ugly, but
he
I don't know
said he didn't have a gun.
He had that gun because Chuck gave it. When he did it the first time, he did the same thing. He dropped his gun. Y'all heard the gun. I don't know if you even remember. Y'all was so young.
No.
But this was in Memphis, not here.
Right.
Because you and Risha were still asleep in the bed with me. They were still asleep. And then I think Risha came in as a little girl, but she said, I remember, because she was just thinking about something. I don't know. She said, I remember that bedroom furniture we had was solid wood with mirrors, beautiful, that we had got in Virginia Beach. And we still had a solid wood. Because the mirrors, you open like armoire type and drawers. And
anybody that analyzes it, they're going to say, oh yeah, she's lying about a lot of stuff.
Very deceptive.
They're going to say, oh, she keeps stopping herself at certain points. So if you're being an honest person, you will continue that story. You would not stop in between before you get the who, what, when, where, and how.
Right.
So if you're going to bring somebody up, make sure you bring them up. Bring them up and keep it going.
Right.
So she didn't think that we would do our own investigation and get our own information because we already had information before that.
Right.
That's what led us to ask these questions.
Right.
Obviously, she had more information to give and still refuses to give that information because it incriminates her.
You know what? I am so glad that you are doing this because I would have never thought in a million years I would just let it been what I remember.
Right.
And been done with it. I ain't never had the courage to really talk to Mama after the situation.
Right.
And, you know, up until, like I said, recently, last few years or whatever, I finally, you know, I talked to Uncle Chuck and stuff like that. And,
Right.
and like that other night, I had just been keeping it in. So no one knows, you know, her sisters or brothers, you know. I never told anyone. Uncle Chuck was the first one. I never did get a chance to talk to Uncle Bill or Uncle Butch.
Right.
You know, or Gramps, you know, but I am ecstatic. I can't wait.
Everybody that they birth or raised or whatever,
They feel like
they can do whatever they want and say whatever they want to them because they're up under them.
Yeah.
Remember, I came in like,
and they was like, we can definitely tell. That was the shit. You was 4 kids in, they was still telling you what to do.
but you see how they treat us, but we can't do them the same way. That's fucked up.
I am always going to give thanks to the principles that they gave me, taking care of me, making sure I ate, making sure I was. I'm never going to speak negative about, or should I say lie on, first of all, anybody, but definitely not my family that helped me. Because some of the stuff, I experienced less bullshit growing up than my sisters or the women in the family did.
Mm-hmm.
I was protected a little more.
Right.
But I was also neglected a little more as I got older. I should be a voice that motherfuckers should be listening to. Not only do I talk it, but I live it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get nobody to pass. Meaning
Right.
that everybody's held to the same level. All this do is break down the family even further. Now the next generation is gonna start acting funny with y'all too. They gonna stop not coming around. It's gonna break the whole family up. It's almost like when you wake up and you finally realize you are in the matrix. And you gotta adjust to how you gonna move and shit, cause you know you in it, but the other folks don't know they in it.
Right.
At the funeral, his mother, Gramps, Nanny D, said
that he didn't kill himself.
That's what she said.
Oh God.
That was in '88.
Yeah.
Before we got over here, the time we talked to you before about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nene said, "Daddy, if Mama's lying about anything, give me a sign." That's 2024. And she got a sign. The chairs.
Who?
The chairs were in there making noise. They don't do that. Granny and Papa house, the chairs don't make noise by themselves.
No, not that. Other things happen.
This is his time to shine. This is his time to shine through my wife and through me. This is the most omnipresent I've ever felt my daddy. Ever.
In that house?
No.
Oh, just
the last few months.
Wow.
It's as if he's standing right there. I've never felt
I don't know
close.
why you pointed right there, but nothing.
Jeez.
What?
What you see him? You feel him?
That's why I stopped talking a second ago in the middle of my conversation. I didn't want to say nothing.
We got Mama's statement. I hate to say statement. It makes it sound like I'm a damn officer. Well, technically.
You got a
technically.
Hold up, now you got a statement, but you ain't got the booking number on the case that occurred. Do you know who the detective was that was there?
It's in there.
It's in there. Have you talked to him?
We ain't got to that point yet.
Okay.
But listen, I'm talking to the only adult that was there, right?
Okay.
If my mama was the only adult that was there, the 4 of us was in the room.
And the kids were all,
right?
Yeah.
So this is what my mother said.
She jumped in front of you before you can even say.
Oh, you found an article? Okay. Now, we all know what a strange wife means or a strange husband. That means y'all
but separated.
Right. Yeah. So, rewind real quick. Go back to Uncle Chuck when I talked to him and he told me, said he never told nobody this, so I felt privileged. I felt privileged that Uncle wanted to share that with me. He said,
when me and Cheryl first split up and I was trying to get back with her and she had made up her mind that she wasn't going to get back with me, your dad and your mom, they had been separated for quite a while. Me and him was talking and I told him, I said, man, I just think I just ought to kill myself. And he said, Chuck, think about what you're saying. He said, if you kill yourself, I ain't gonna have no younger brother to run with or kick it with. He said, mother already lost Robert.
Right.
You got a daughter that you're gonna leave behind for some other man to raise. You won't never be in her life. And he said, how you think that's gonna make mother feel? How you think it's gonna make the family feel to kill yourself? That is not in us. It also changed my mind from the talk that me and him had. It changed my mind about being suicidal at all. I never thought about killing myself. I said I might would have killed Sherba or everybody else around me, but I wasn't gonna kill me. They said that she kept calling Richard at his house, and at the time Richard was with this girl named Terry. Some people said that the snowman was at our apartment when Richard went over there. Terry was at Richard's house, and Terry had begged Richard not to go over there, but he went anyway. And next thing she knows, she was getting a call saying that Richard was dead. Okay, now, just from me talking to Richard, I don't think that Richard would have shot himself. And where he did shoot himself, being the man that I know he was, he wasn't going to do nothing to hurt his dick. He got shot right above his penis. Okay?
Yes,
He
sir.
wasn't going to do nothing
To hurt.
We wasn't going to do nothing to hurt that. Mother said when she got there, Joe Kerr told her, just sit down, I'll handle this.
If Daddy talked him out of suicide, why would he then go commit suicide and leave his children alone?
Because he didn't, Richard. He didn't shoot to kill himself.
If he shot himself there.
No, baby, no. When people commit suicide to kill themselves, if it's not in the mouth or in the head or upper heart area, he wasn't trying to kill himself. You guys,
what was he trying to do?
To get me to come back home
by shooting himself?
Yes. If he wanted to kill himself,
Mama, I'm not saying. I'm saying, do you even believe that? That's the most extreme thing you could possibly do. Mind you,
some of the stuff he did. Richard,
I know, but listen, what I'm saying
is extreme.
I agree with you. That's what I'm trying to say is
he didn't try to kill himself. He wouldn't have wanted to leave. But he loved y'all.
Granny was the first person to see Daddy that day. From my understanding.
Yes.
Granny told me this herself
she
many years back.
Different.
She said he looked worried, he looked tired, he looked not himself, his smile wasn't there. You corroborated, said that story's true.
Yes.
Right. That was somewhere in there. That was at MAPCO. Okay.
Yep,
we got that.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Chuck told me he actually talked to Daddy later on that day and was asking him, are you going to the club? Oh, no, Chuck, I'm tired. Now, you said he was tired to her.
Okay.
Now, she said in her vision to you that she seen him as tired. You acknowledged it and said to her last time we was over here that Daddy was tired. Right. Well, I gotta go find Terry. You know, we ended up finding her honestly because my wife's a professional detective. Terry didn't. That's why I say I guess you beat her butt so bad that whatever. She said a little bit. She agreed that she called you and apologized about that. She did all of that.
Yeah,
but some of the other stuff, some of the other stuff that I asked that you didn't tell me. Some things I asked. Basically, she said, "Yeah, I was off and on with your dad." Da, 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 da. But I can tell that she had more to say, but she didn't want to talk because she didn't want to ruin her new life. But that's another story. Yeah, we let it go. I let it go. I told her respectfully, we'll let it go. Whatever. Yeah. We moved on. Whatever. She seen the ghost when she seen me. I'm quite she did.
I bet.
Well,
she saw you.
We was standing there talking now.
Oh, I know she did.
Yeah, we standing there talking. She just kept looking me up and down like she...
Her energy was very uneasy as well.
Like that girl who ever called me and said, she was telling you to answer the phone. Mm-hmm. And said, B? Said, Mama, somebody's saying a B. What is that? I grabbed that phone and said, I don't know who the hell you are. You gonna say that? I said, that was my daughter, my child. Because you said, you kill your husband, they gonna get you. I said, you know what? I didn't kill him, but I'll kill you.
And I hate when people are in the dark about things. I'm just sitting there.
His energy is here.
Huh?
His energy is here.
His dad? Yeah. They lived here for a little while. And you look like them. Your dad's family was very popular. I grew up in Tippin County. I was a cheerleader at Mumford High.
Okay.
So I know, like, your dad was popular with motorcycles.
Yeah.
I was popular in school, cheerleading and, all of that.
Right.
So I knew of that name.
Yeah, it's a lot of artists.
It's a lot of them. The rumor was he killed himself here.
I know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
as my Uncle Chuck says.
See, I know that name.
What man you know that gets women with ease is sitting here begging his woman, hey, come on, be back with me, baby. Please, baby, please.
That ain't happening.
And them usually the dudes that don't get women.
No, they don't get nothing. It wasn't Richard. I can tell you this right now.
The women loved him.
I know.
They loved him. He didn't have to beg nobody. The women loved him. In fact, they loved all my brothers.
I can tell. I mean, they some fellers.
They were coders.
I see where you got your looks from. I see.
I got a little song.
It wasn't just a little while. It was at least 9 months to a year.
And the reason why that's significant, I'm just looking at the Hardy men, all the way from granddaddy on down. Getting women ain't never been a problem.
Exactly. The Hardy boys were known. They were all good looking. They were popular.
They always had a woman.
They were good looking and had a woman. And like I said,
I'm not finna do this again. This ain't gonna be a sequel where we 5 years later we back to fight. No, we're not finna do that. We're gonna get it. We're gonna thoroughly go through it, and then we're gonna get it over with. We're gonna know, our kids are gonna know, and so on and so forth. And if people choose not to talk, like Uncle Gary said, that's their right. You can choose not to talk, but don't be surprised when I don't talk back to you no more. Because my thing is, I'm seeing a pattern in a history of especially the men in this family dying tragically. It can't be me. And I refuse for it to be my sons or anything like that. We've been the bigger person for so long to the point where now people think they got a pass.
They don't get no bad.
I'm glad you said that.
He said it so clear.
And since you care, you got this is something you got to do. And not only that you're not only just caring just because of your sake.
Right.
Because you obviously you accepted the fact.
Yeah,
the fact that we got everybody tied up in this and can't nobody go nowhere. Do you literally believe in curses?
I'm still 50-50 on that too.
Ain't no curse. Those things cursing. Those is God. God.
Well, see, we're not Christian though. We don't believe in God.
That might be a problem.
No, that's not. No,
that's why that's a problem with
no.
Everything they have knowledge is not true.
That's where they found him in the tub. The guy went to pick him up for his appointment, and he couldn't make him answer. And when they called Wendy, she was at work. They contacted her. I don't believe he fell in that tub.
I never
got
that story.
We were at the apartment, and she was very adamant that he was gonna come and get her on a white horse, and going off into the field. And you said, so if he came back today, or if he came and said hey and said something to you, what will you do? And she was like, I would go with him or something. She said.
If I knew somebody could contact or was being contacted by a loved one of mine, I'd be asking questions. Hey, so what they have on, what they say, you would have thought Mama, of all people, would have questioned her.
Would have had some questions, yeah.
Mama was like, really? I don't know if you ever heard Mama say or anybody in my family ever say that they believe there was a curse on the Hardys.
Yep.
And I noticed something. The more I try to break them, it just seems that the Jones side, don't do it, don't say this, don't do that. And I'm like, whoa. These are my teachers. These are the people I've been closest to. And it just, something is way off. When we were telling everybody we were going to let KJ know how he was conceived and this, that, and other, for years, everybody in the Jones family was like, don't tell him. Don't tell him nothing.
You're fighting a familiar spirit. A familiar spirit is not necessarily connected to someone directly, but it is connected to the bloodline. Everything that they said and everything they haven't done is still connected to the bloodline. This is where you get bloodline curses. I commend you for this reason. You told your kids everything. I was breaking generational curses on my half, but I could not break it on her mama's half. Familiar spirits will attach to anybody who's in the bloodline who does not acknowledge it or are weaker. You have to cut the bloodline. Why is it all happening? Why does it seem like now that you're trying to do it right? Because that familiar spirit does not want to let go. Sometimes you got to disconnect from everything connected to the old bloodline, i.e. family. Because what happens is, as long as you have that attachment, it's still attached to you.
It's the generational curse for men, and it started somewhere. That's what we're trying to figure out where to end it. But I'm starting to think that where it has to end is his mama.
And Whoppy is still not in the clear.
He still ain't in the clip. Remember Whoppy almost died a couple years ago? Remember that car fell on? Was that about 2 years ago?
So, and
He was in a wreck.
he's always.
It's always something, ain't it?
He messed around and got in a situation to where he was mentally stressed. He was mentally stressed because he worked like crazy. Could never have nothing. He worked. He could never have nothing.
It literally sounds just like him.
Man, when I say I'm finding out it's like it's going down the path.
Right. You work
and don't got nothing.
He ain't
got nothing to show for it, but you've been working.
I paid attention to what Richard was going through because when I say he would do everything right.
Still there?
The right way. Just A, B, C, D. He'd do everything and nothing is panning out. Everything is falling into cracks. That's what, and then now it's on me.
If he's that strong, right? And he's coming to you, and you're bringing it to me as the son, and I'm bringing it to my family, right?
Right.
It must be us in a situation where it's a roadblock that we need to all get over. All. Notice I said all, not one of us, not two of us, not five of us.
I kind of distanced myself from a lot of family members too after Richard and Robert got killed. I didn't want to be close to anybody anymore. I didn't want to have a closeness. So if I did lose them, it wouldn't hurt so much.
This is supposed to clear up for the whole Hardy family.
This ain't and this
it's not
about
just
one
about one person.
This ain't even just about them two.
Just like she hurt still to this day.
I was woken up. I automatically went to the crib, picked you up. In fact, your dad wasn't there. He wasn't there. Because I picked you up and you were ice cold. And I picked you up and I was kind of shaking and you were ice cold and I was holding, I was not breathing. And I didn't call 911. I called Mama, because Mom and Dad were right around the, corner. You weren't breathing. You were blue. And then you did. Took a deep breath. Because I was shaking. Mom said, call 911. By that time, you took a deep breath. And I said, he'll never sleep again in that. So you slept in the bed with us. One time I got up to look for you, to check on you guys.
Yeah.
I said, somebody done come in here and stole my son. And I told Richard is gone. The baby's gone. Somebody stole our son. Then we like scared to death, looking like, oh my God, the girls they're right there. Okay, somebody came in. They came in just to steal my baby. You were back and out the bed on the back, laying on the blanket on the floor, but it's a blanket, and that's where you were knocked out.
I believe it was in 98. Because I looked at the fact, I said, Robert got killed in 78, Richard in 88. Around 98, I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Right.
Because I didn't think I was going to make it to 30.
Wow.
And I barely did. I barely did.
We ain't out in the street doing nothing.
Right.
And to think that we gonna pass at 30, like that magic number, that's some kind of curse.
It is.
I didn't think it affected me until I gained weight. Later on in life, that's when I realized, your mom was like, you got scar tissue on one of your lungs. That's why when you gain weight, it's hard for you to breathe or something.
Wow.
So at night, I would be asleep. When I would sleep on my back, I would choke in my sleep.
He would choke in his sleep.
Oh, wow.
And I would spit up water and stuff.
Get up, pat him on the back.
That's when I really had started, trying to change my life. Me and Peggy started going to church, and I, quit drinking and quit running the streets.
Right.
And that happened, And then after that happened, I fell in a state of depression and stopped even going to therapy, man. And I looked in the mirror one day, and my neck, it was just like I was just chin and shoulders. I ain't had no neck no more. And I sit down and say, oh man, I got to go back. I got to stop feeling sorry for myself and go back and get the help I need, man. And from that point on, I started trying to, make this comeback. 5 years ago, my lung collapsed. And then year before last, it collapsed again. When I realized that Robert died at 25, I didn't think I was going to make it to 25. And then Richard at 30. And I get, coming up on that 30th birthday, man, I got real scared.
I haven't even met Whoppy's youngest son, but I would hate for me to have information about a curse and I don't tell him. I don't tell Whoppy.
Well, I wish you would act like you loved him. Do you act like you love him? Do you call him? Do you check on him? But that's your nephew. You the uncle. You're the uncle.
Right. I'm the teacher, and guess what I've been doing since? And listen, and guess what I've been doing since he's been little? Teaching.
To be able to understand, interpret, process information.
Right.
You on the right track as far as why you want to know that.
Right.
Because it's a lot of things that's attached to that you want to get rid of the attachments. Okay. But as far as her helping you, it ain't gonna happen.
Why you say that?
Huh?
Why you say that?
Because she can't. She gonna get mad at you because you over her head. You over her head, so she gonna get mad and flip you off.
Yeah, you right about that. I have a lot of that in my family. See, I always try to understand people's points before they understand mine.
Yeah.
Because that's how you learn more, and it's like, I understand everybody's not the same level. Because as intelligent as I am, there's somebody that would make me look like I'm slow.
Right.
So I understand it. But this is where your character starts to come in play. If you have great character, you can find a common ground.
The truth can hurt.
Oh, but see, this is where the truth is supposed to hurt because everybody else was hurting.
So in other words, they're saying by this truth coming out will free everybody else.
The term, the generational curse, keeps coming up because he just kept getting dealt a bad hand. You know, me and him go out
back to back. Stuff just happening to him.
For real.
That's what's happening to him right
now. It's been happening to me for a long time,
but it's happening more now.
Nobody believes it except her, because she's watching it.
Right.
It's happening to her too.
I'm running with him. Me and him doing the same thing. And man, look like he getting caught up into everything.
What about you though? So it's getting him, but it ain't getting you, but y'all running together.
Right.
He cleaned the house, cooked. He does all of that. Laundry, everything, including work. So it's like he's doing 100% everything. And still he's getting dealt the bad hand. Yeah. No matter what job he works, it does not matter. He's getting dealt bad hands. And I kept saying, it feels like we're fighting invisibility.
He ain't got no good job working
the depot.
And then they called him in and told him he had to let him go. Because he had something. He falsified the information on his application. What was that? It asked him something. And he ignored it or whatever.
Like one of them criminal background things?
Something like that. And it seemed like that was the beginning right there.
The downfall.
Yeah, Only way he could reconcile it was to get Quita to come on in.
So basically, the family unit, if she would have been his support,
he could have made it.
There's no way that so much negativity should be happening to us. Now, I've heard before when I was younger that there was a possible curse with Granddaddy passing on and Uncle Robert passing on, Daddy passing on, and then Uncle Chuck almost dying. When I got towards 30, I started getting panicky. And she was concerned and was like, what's wrong? No, I just feel like...
He went through a phase he wouldn't leave the house.
Yeah,
it's just...
stuff like that. And I didn't discuss it with Mama.
The real main reason why we're fully in search, because I never want my husband to ever tell me to use his insurance policy.
Why would you say that?
Because you did, and I died on the inside.
Oh, I didn't know you died on that. Go ahead, finish it out then.
He's been going through everything in his life is feeling real bad. Like, no matter what he does.
I can't tie my shoestring without it breaking.
He said it more than once.
I did.
And he said, well, baby, we got a $150,000 policy on me. And, we can use... I didn't even want him to say anything else.
No, you stopped me before I got further.
The second time, he looked me in my eyes and he was serious.
It's never ending. It's the most never ending. So that's why I end up saying the thing about the insurance policy.
No, baby.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't go on the rest of my life if it's like this. After a while, I'm gonna be honest with you. I ain't even want to be a Hardy.
Understand?
Because it's like I didn't want to go around Uncle Chuck and Uncle Bill. This is before Uncle Butch moved back. I didn't really want to go around them because it was just a reminder of what I don't have. And you just looking at it like, why my daddy gotta be gone?
Exactly.
First year, a young man next door to me killed his own brother. 10 years later, another brother with boxing got mad, he killed his brother. You see what I'm saying? These are real bad trends. Why this occurring?
Right.
But it do occur. You have to come to learn to accept some things.
Right.
Because back in the day, we were doing a whole lot of
Oh,
things.
yeah, we know.
They were doing, especially when they're in the racings and all that kind of stuff, all the different people they dealt with. Honey, it was going on.
Your family, it's something hanging on your coattails. I said, I already dealt with my family, and we now have moved out away from yours. What are you talking about? Sure enough, not long after she said that, Whoppy and Tanya Mail come to our house. Mind you, no one knows where we live. How would their mail come to our house? She said, I believe your dad has been trying to get everybody's attention, and everybody keeps ignoring. Everybody who is getting the attention is shooing them off.
And see, that's what guilt Yvette is carrying around with her.
Right.
Is that I got this call from my brother.
Yeah.
I should have got up and went to him, and I didn't. I said, well, Yvette, you didn't have no idea. She said, I can't let it go. I should have went.
And Uncle Chuck, I will say, he said he has put his hands on your shoulder so many times and you have shaken it off. His dad said he's put his hand on your shoulder so many times
and you
shake it off.
You know how much you love a person,
right?
But it just seems like in some areas of their life
you can't grab.
Can't touch them.
Yeah.
Tragically, but your life was spared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That he has me here with you to keep you from a lot of stuff, Chuck.
One question. You were saying that Richard kind of got my back, but I shake him off. What do I do about that?
Oh, you just, when you feel that feeling, just let it. Just feel it.
You got to be a willing participant.
You just feel it.
You got to be willing to let him in. You got to let that hurt go. And then and only then can you receive him. You got to let that hurt go.
Yeah.
Y'all were so close. Your love for him is so strong. To think of certain things, it hurts you.
Don't beat yourself up about him, because it ain't your fault. Nothing's your fault.
Nothing is your fault.
It's not your fault.
Actually, you did.
You did your part, and this is where he wants to thank you.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for you, where would his children be?
Yeah.
To be honest, because where would their mindset be of knowing who the Hardys are? You the one kept the Hardy kids, these Hardy kids.
You the glue.
You the glue.
You been the glue.
And that's where his energy comes in. That he always thanks you.
I couldn't have asked for a better friend. He went through some tough times, you know, and like I say, especially tough financial time, because his hands was tied.
It's just the fact that he had something following him that.
Since you reveal that to me, I can see it. You know, poor Miss D just losing all of us, you know.
I was the last person to talk to Robert. I was the last person to talk to Richard. And I went and saw Butch the day or two before he.
Reason why you're here is because of her. She's different. She has a different spirit in her. Sitting here, I would be able, like, it's almost like she's almost somewhat like me.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But the
thinking.
spirit is kind of open with you.
Thank you.
You are actually, that's why you're safe. He's safe because of me.
But your mom knew that, Chuck. She knew that. That's why she had no problem with me.
Right.
Because I always assured her. I said, you don't never need to worry about him. I got him.
Right.
I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your folks. I don't care if it's my folks. I got you. Ain't nobody finna mistreat Chuck. And I mean that.
Oh,
That's how I feel about him.
Yes.
Wholeheartedly. He's doing this for the whole party. It's not just him.
You're not gonna help remove the curse?
How do I do it?
Be honest.
About what, Richard?
You remember when we did when we was over there the last time when we was talking and you gave me the insurance information?
Yeah.
And when we were talking, I noticed something that I never noticed. I mean, that had never happened before. When I was holding your hand, you remember I was holding your hand?
Uh-huh.
I was holding your hand for about 15, 20 minutes as we were talking about, life stuff, right?
Yeah.
That was the most non-close energy I've ever felt you have. Almost like you had dark energy or you had negative energy or something. I didn't even feel your actual hand like I normally would. I think you think that this is all a joke or it's all made up.
I'm the devil.
No.
I'm trying to think because I know what happened.
What happened?
I know what happened to my husband.
I know what you went through with it. And the generational curse. I mean, if I would have anything to say about it,
right,
I would tell you that it's going through a process to where you breaking it. For the time I've been around him and them, all the way up until now, I've never seen one with a real relationship. See, you got a real relationship. You and this chick you keep talking about, I'm listening. That's something I ain't never seen an artist do. To me, what makes it so intriguing is that nobody from you down know about it. So once you take it away, it's just like nothing happened.
Oh, I get what you're saying right there.
And I admire you, and I say this to you. Stick with what you know.
Right.
Don't go with the new.
No,
if it's not broke, don't fix it. They don't understand.
They don't understand.
So for me to open my door to you, y'all keep up what you're doing. You just made my day.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I greatly appreciate you being so forthcoming and sharing that story about your son.
Mm-hmm.
I also appreciate you for opening the door because I know this is a unusual situation. Yeah. But I've been placed into an unusual situation with this. My wife and I would like to extend our appreciation to Miss Betty K for allowing us to be invited into her precious home, which used to be my childhood home that I shared with my family. It was a very surreal experience. And
it's because of the stuff that she said, the encouraging words.
Right. Very positive, very upbeat.
Very positive. And basically stating how, we need to know the truth and what we're doing is right.
Right.
Because a lot of people in her age and generation, they don't tell the truth.
Right.
And some of us go through life, harboring, these lies, and we get depressed when things are not adding up. It's a lot of that that's happened.
There's not a lot of people in
the world
that like the truth. So I salute you, Miss Betty.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.